quick hello to anybody who's in the stream right now. This is Marcos, and Dalton has joined me today.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah. We're doing busted things in Modern tonight, hopefully.
We have thus far done busted things. So hopefully
far, yes.
Continues.
Yes. Alright, so... Fine. Sweet. Okay, so what we're doing tonight is playing Broken Modern Things. So I just updated the Stream Decker app on the stream to show the current deck list we have for today, which is Modern Bridgevine with Hogaak. We're gonna gack people out today, Dalton.
Oh, gack them up.
Gack them up. So here's the deck list that we're running.
And I probably would have to kick someone out of the tournament if they gack someone else up.
Also true. Alright. So here's what we got. The core of the deck comes down to big fella Hogaak, Arisen Necropolis. Can't spend mana on it. First of all, I'm going to say a lot of things about this card that I have messed up today. Just because I'm still learning the deck. Hogaak, you cannot spend mana to cast this spell. You can Convoke and Delve to pay to cast this spell. Costs 7. 5 generic and a hybrid Golgari. You can cast it from your graveyard, and it's an 8/8 trampling smash face fella. We have... Yes, go ahead.
7 Modern.
Yeah, 7 mana is totally fair in Modern. Totally fair. You can't power that out on turn 2. And then Vengevine, everybody's favorite dumb graveyard shenanigans creature. This one I also have messed up in playing the deck a bit today. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's the second creature spell you cast this turn, creature is an important aspect of that. You may return Vengevine from your graveyard to the battlefield. There's no green mana in this deck whatsoever. This is entirely meant to dump into your graveyard and bring it back out. It's always annoying when you get stuck with one in hand and no way to discard it. Oh, Bridge. Bridge from below. Zombie Token Maker. You have so many ways to sacrifice your creatures in this deck that you just end up with an army of zombies. Specifically through Altar of Dementia. Targeting yourself, typically. And what else? Not this one. There we go. And Carrion Feeder. Just sack everything.
Also, welcome to Modern.
Welcome to Modern. Beyond that, we have Gravecrawler, the fun companion to Vengevine. Stitcher Supplier, which has been just waiting on the wings to come out and do stupid broken things in Magic since last summer. Insolent Neonate, enabling ways to get things from your hand into your graveyard, like a Vengevine that's stuck there, or a Bloodghast that you want to return back, or a Bridge from Below that's stuck in your hand. Faithless Looting also, best enabler to just fill your graveyard. Bloodcast to return with lands. Lots of black-red lands. Bloodstained Mires, Marsh Flats to find your one-of Godless Shrine. Dalton laughs because of the story of earlier today, which I'll get into at some point during the stream when it's more relevant. But that's the deck. It is just pump the board full of things that you keep sacrificing, and it's... I don't know about you, Dalton, when I first looked at this deck, I was like, how does this even work? How can this actually be that powerful? I've played 6 matches with it so far. I've not watched any content or anyone streaming the deck at all. I've just heard of the deck's existence. And went 5-1 by just trying to do as broken things as I possibly can and trying to smash face. And that terrifies me.
If we can smash face, then I approve of this deck. But you're right, Bridgevine has been around for at least a decent amount of time. And Supplier came out in M19, it got a little bit more buzz around it. It was pretty big for a while with just the Bridgevine Zoo build or the Bushwhacker style, but it very quickly faltered out. But it's looking like with the Modern Horizons release, we are going to see this deck for quite some time in Modern.
Yeah, until the Banhammer hits
it. Which, to be fair, it's another graveyard deck in Modern, so of course it's going to be pretty decent.
Oh, yes.
Which makes me wonder, do you think Mill is going to, at some point in time, become a reasonable deck again? Because Mill runs main deck surgical extractions and or extirpates and or dumb graveyard hate that doesn't make any other sense otherwise. But oh man.
That is a very good question. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't know. You use a word in there that I find amusing of, will it ever be that great again? I don't know if it was ever that great to begin with. And that's just me being, very pessimistic about it. But I think it has way more of a chance. Altar of Dementia is such a dumb card. Especially with any kind of recursiveness. Like, you'll see when we're playing through the league, there are times where I'm just like there is something magical about sacrificing a Hogaak to Altar of Dementia and milling yourself for 8 and just immediately recasting it to get a Vengevine or 3. That's a thing you can do, and that's dumb. So yeah, man, this deck, it doesn't look as powerful as it actually is, but it is. So let's run into the sideboard a little bit. 4 Wisp Mares. These are effectively your Rest in Peace and Leyline of the Void killers. If you suspect them bringing in either of those cards, you bring the full play set of these in because you just have to. Conversely, for Leyline of the Void, because, well, it's only fun if you get to play Magic. 2 Necrotic Wound. We actually have one of these in the main board as well. Undergrowth finally doing something. So we're usually having at least a few creatures in our yard, so it is just a overall better removal spell for this style of deck, especially since it gives -X. So goodbye Indestructibles, goodbye whatever you got. We are playing Shenanigans, because Shenanigans. Ingot Chewers as just a more efficient way to deal with artifacts, and potentially just a creature we can throw out if we're flooded and just can sacrifice to put 3 more into the yard. Silent Gravestone, it took me a second to realize what this can do in the deck, and it's your surgical extraction protection. So if you're going up against Phoenix or what have you, just feel free to dump whatever you like into your graveyard, knowing that they won't be able to target it unless they can deal with this Silent Gravestone first. The second part of this card does not exist as far as I'm concerned. And that's the deck. So we will see how it does as we jump into a league.
Yes.
Alright, so let's jump in there and see what's up.
To all the folks out there watching, if you want my hot spec of the week, I will tell you to pick up Ravenous Trap. Because as graveyard hate that you don't need to target any cards in the library. Or in the graveyard.
True. That's true. Silent Gravestone just does not care.
And oh man, so when I was playing Quest for Ruleless Temple the other week, I had an opponent who was on a Bridgevine build. This was before Hogaak, so none of that going around. But I had a Tormod's Crypt on the battlefield. So they were doing their best to play around it, and finally they targeted it with removal. So I went ahead, just stacked it in response, got rid of it. And so they're like, oh, sweet, I got this. I can finally go off. And I had Ravenous Trap in hand. and they concede it as soon as I cast the spell.
Oh, man.
Because if they see that thing on the table to play around, they feel safe once it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh, man.
Get them with a double blind.
Cool.
Can't agree, General Mongoose. Ravenous Trap is great.
General Mongoose, welcome.
Alright. So Primula just took care of one more thing, and we will get started. Cool. Alright, let's jump into the match. Ooh, turn 1 surgical against Phoenix is gross, General Mongoose.
Oh, hey Marcos, can you go ahead and switch me to your screen share?
How do you mean?
Because right now I am looking at your lovely mug.
Oh, well, let's do that
then. On Skype, that is.
There you go. Thought we had already done that.
I get the insider information without the delay.
Yes, this is the hot tag for how we have Dalton sharing the stream with me from across the country.
Oh no, I spilled the secrets. Rats.
Curses.
So, in my day-to-day, I do a lot of work with children. So, I end up throwing out quite a few fun little, PG-rated expletives. And rats will fill my dictionary to the brim.
Okay.
Because when you work with, you never know, for some children, shut up is a swear word.
Truth. And they can get very sensitive.
I've never been yelled at for saying rats in front of a kid.
Okay, so looking at this hand, it's keepable. I'm not thrilled with it. I'm really not thrilled with it.
Yeah, so the Neonate can get us something else, but we really don't have anything we want to pitch.
Yeah. And, I can't recur the Gravecrawler because these are notably not zombies. So I can't start, a Gravecrawler Dementia loop on turn 2. So I'm going to mulligan this. Oh, daddy.
Yikes.
Okay. Yikes indeed. Oh, this is worse. Because these are all things that I want in my graveyard and not in my hand. And no way to get them there.
Oh, man. If we could just parse these two together.
Yep.
Oh, that would be a gorgeous hand. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Now, this I like. Well, we're keeping this for sure.
Yeah?
Leave
that. Are you on the play or the draw?
I am on the play, so I will leave this on top.
Yeah.
Yes. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
So to be fair, I have also never watched a stream or seen any content related to this deck. But I know that leaving something on top to put into the graveyard is fantastic.
It's total gas. Alright, so we dumped in the Hogaak that we left on top, a land, and a Gravecrawler, which is good because we can get that back with our Stitcher Supplier before we sack it to an eventual Altar of Dementia. Oh, we're going against Tron. Sweet.
Lovely.
Alright, no second land. So I'm feeling Carrion Feeder, attack with Stitcher Supplier, sacrifice Stitcher Supplier, fill our yard a little more, and pass.
Indeed.
Let's do
I don't think of any.
Getting that chip damage with Stitcher Supplier before we dump him in the yard.
Yeah, show him who's boss.
Okay. Send a message. Alright, let's see what we dump. Ooh, got a bridge from below. Another land and a Stitcher Supplier. Okay.
Take it.
This totally works. Especially with, what, one Gravecrawler in the yard, another one in our hand, and an Altar of Dementia that can come down whenever we find a second land source. This is fine. This is better now that they didn't put down a second Tron piece. That buys us a turn.
Yes. Yeah, and what's nice about this deck is we don't have to worry as much about a card like Oblivion Stone, because the permanents that we need are not on our battlefield. You know, we're worried about them taking out the cards in our graveyard. Mm-hmm. Sure, it keeps us from swinging for a turn, but...
Okay. I'm thinking it's time to bring out the big guns.
Ooh.
With 1 mana on the battlefield, cast a Gravecrawler. Convoke, exile a Stitcher Supplier, Marsh Flats, Stitcher Supplier, Bloodstained Mire, and get rid of a Gravecrawler, as much as that stinks, but that is a turn 3 Hogaak with 1 mana on the field.
Seems decent.
This is gross. This is so gross. Stirring's away.
Casual, what, smush for 8, 10, 12 next turn? I can dig it.
Love it.
And even if they Karn us, toss down, you know, try to exile our Hogaak or something like that, we can just sack things to Gravecrawler.
Relic of Progenitus. That's moderately annoying with just the 1 bridge from below. Man, that's annoying, but whatever. We have another one in our hand. Thought about the potential of sacrificing there, but then I would just have to get rid of the Gravecrawler, and I much more value having a Gravecrawler eventually come back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have a land. So.
Yay!
How do we sequence this? Next turn, we basically just have to make sure that we can get around any kind of exile effect from a Karn. Beyond that, I don't think that we care about anything else. We're just on a smash face plan here. So
yeah,
I think putting out the Altar of Dementia, giving us a second sacrifice outlet in case of, just gives us enough redundancy that we can fight through whatever they can put down this turn and then just rely on a giant 8/8 smasher.
Correct.
Seems legit. Let's do it. Blood Crypt, tapped. Because I don't really even want to cast anything this turn. Oh no, untapped because no, I'm dumb.
Oh.
I was worried about protecting life when it doesn't matter.
Nope. With Tron, we are essentially just dead when we're dead. It doesn't matter what our life total is.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'll put out a secondary sack outlet into Carrion Feeder as opposed to the Altar of Dementia. Twitch chat, feel free to punt away. We are using the MTG bot, so feel free to track how much we punt with this deck, and also try to track how much we win despite punting really badly, because that's something I've noticed happens quite a lot with this deck, because I am in no way, shape, or form playing this perfectly.
And what's actually unfortunate about this is if they have the ability to rip the third Tron and Ugin, then Altar of Dementia would notably stay on the board after an Ugin minus.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
I don't even think... Does Ugin even come in with enough to minus and get rid of a Hogaak? That card is dumb.
I think it comes in with just enough.
Okay. So you could pay 8 mana to exile Hogaak.
Yes.
It looks like we might not have to pay too hard for that error.
No.
But we'll see.
It was a punt in overall optimization of play, but we were not punished and therefore can move on. Now, though...
And here, so we can Altar of Dementia And when we move to combat, we can swing with everything and sacrifice whatever it is they block with the Worm Coil engine. Ooh.
Yep.
That means no life there.
No life whatsoever. Found that out in one match I had earlier against a Bogles player. And managed to win because I was able to sacrifice the creature that they blocked with their Daybreak Coronet creature.
Ooh, nice.
And it worked quite nicely for me. So let's see what our opponent does. Okay, well, I was mentioning beforehand, it's real fun to sack a Hogaak and then just immediately recast Hogaak. Choose us. Sacrifice Hogaak.
And we're still getting in for 6 here, so...
Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And most importantly, they're not gaining a life. So they're going down to 2. We can actually get back a Bloodghast as well with our fetch land.
Yep. And now we'll have the same ability to put a Hogaak back on defense and sacrifice so that they can't gain life once again.
Yep. Oh, look, they want us to exile a card from our graveyard. We were planning on doing that anyways. Yes. Notably... see, here's another way that I realized just now. Okay, never mind. I got it. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out how I'm actually casting Hogaak when I can't spend mana to cast it and we don't have 2 untapped creatures. But the beauty here is, Altar of Dementia, target us, sacrifice Gravecrawler. Then recast Gravecrawler. Pay a little life. Right now, life doesn't matter to us, so don't worry about that. Recast Gravecrawler. Now we have 2 untapped creatures for Delve, or I'm sorry, for Convoke. Pay black. Nobody there is blocking anyway. Get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we have Hogaak back with an even stronger board presence than before.
Jeez.
And this is why this deck is so dumb. Because literally that whole time I'm just sitting there like, oh wait, I'm totally messed up. I don't have a way to recast this creature. Oh no, my board state just says, no, there's a way. Just look a little harder. It's there.
Nah, bro, go for it.
You got this. Karn the Great Creator.
Hogaak's your hype man.
Yeah,
it's like, no, I probably do it.
So Karn means Altar does not work anymore.
Great Creator, correct.
But beyond that, do we care?
So they have enough mana for a Lattice, which means Worm Coil will be able to block, as we will no longer be able to sacrifice a blocker. But I'm pretty certain we have enough power anyways that it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, I don't see this being an issue, so do your thing. I'm not going to respond with anything, because, yeah, this is fine. Which is so crazy to say.
I believe I'm doing the math correct there. They're going to gain 6 from Worm Coil, put them up to... But then our carry-on feeders will smash for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the Bloodghast, 6, 7 with the Gravecrawler.
But we can, like, Hogaak does have Trample. So even if they're blocking Hogaak, 2 will get through. So
perfect.
We should be fine. They're attacking.
Fascinating.
I see no reason to block here.
Yeah. Unless they all is dust?
Yeah, but even if they all is dust, then we just lose anyway. But if they don't, then we block and then don't have a Hogaak to attack with next turn in case they have a backup creature of some sort.
Yeah, they could have another Worm Coil.
Yeah, so realistically, no reason to block. I will not take your bait. I've really started trying to play as if everything my opponent is doing is trying to trick me into doing something. Just because I've played the other extreme where it's like, oh yeah, they're offering me a super great trade. Like, all right, well I'll take it, and then get punished.
Yes. Let me introduce you to Gorklan Rampager.
That, by the way, was one of my favorite cards from Gatecrash. That was like right when I was first getting into Magic again. And we were just doing like some random limited draft leagues with a couple of friends where we just bought packs and just built decks from them. And like,
sure.
I kept wanting to get my hands, like we would trade with each other too to try and find different things. Ensnaring Bridge.
Yikes.
Oh, that's saucy. Okay.
How many do they hand right now?
4.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 in here. So basically every other creature is fine. Just as long as I don't stack too high on here. Down to 3. Like, they have to get rid of 2 cards. Can they do that?
Huh. They're gonna try.
By drawing a card first. I like where this is going.
Yeah. They're Ancient Stirring, they're... I guess they could Ancient Stirring not find?
Sure.
That makes a lot more sense why they attacked with the Worm Coil, though.
Mm-hmm.
Draw a card. Okay, that one does not make sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, here they're just dead, but they're wanting to affect our graveyard, I suppose? Like, what am I missing here?
So we can sacrifice Hogaak to a carry-on feeder, and that makes lethal?
Yeah.
They have 1 green open.
Mm-hmm.
Dismember can't do anything.
Nope. How about you? Let's just go to combat and see what happens, because I can't think of anything. Nope.
Okay.
They got it.
Let's see, what are we watching out for? Red Force?
Right. I mean, better safe than sorry, so... Okay.
Oh, man. If they pulled a Red Force on us, I think I would just concede there for them, because they want it more.
Yep. What is the win percentage with this so far on Moto? I will tell you that in a moment. Let's look at sideboarding real quick. But we have some interesting statistics on win percentage with this deck. As you say, hashtag busted. So, Shenanigans and Ingot Chewers in, for sure. Just any kind of artifact shenanigans. I don't know if we want to bring in Necrotic Wounds. In fact, I probably just want to take the 1-of out to make space for the Ingot Chewer and the Shenanigans. Ley Lines, I don't care about. Wingmares, I don't care about. And Silent Gravestone, I mean, I guess they could be running Surgicals, but if they do, alright. Yeah, take out the 1 Necrotic Wound, and I think I'll take out 2 Neonates. The Neonates are the ones that I go to cut first. They don't come back from the graveyard easily. They are not zombies for our grave crawlers. And they do require you to discard a card, which if you want to keep things in hand is not as useful. And there's no real way to buff them up a lot. So really, they're a great early game enabler. And help you just dump stuff from your hand when you need to. But it's not like the most clutch piece in the deck, so... Any other thoughts before I submit, Dalton?
There's nothing really that I can think of. I mean, there's not a whole lot of pieces for Tron in the sideboard, and which we'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Truth. All right, let's submit it. So, General Mongoose, when it comes to win percentage with this, I don't know just in Moto in general, but so today I picked up the deck for the very first time, like I mentioned earlier in the stream. Have never watched any content with this deck, haven't seen it on camera doing anything, haven't even looked at the deck list until earlier today when I was putting it together on Moto. So far, before we jumped into this competitive league, when we were just doing the open play tournament practice rooms, record is 5-1 through the day. And that's through lots of bad playing, not playing tight at all. And yeah, I think #busted is absolutely where we're at with this deck. What do we think of this opening hand?
All right, so what do we have? We have 2 lands to fetch us sources. We have 2 zombies, so we can enable Gravecrawler shenanigans. Get Chewer is nice, and its presence is appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, turn 1, looting, dump
We're
some
not doing
stuff.
Bust.
Yeah, this is not busted. But this deck gets busted very quickly. I'm inclined to keep this. What do you think, Dalton?
If you're inclined, then I say we do it. And we've got a side card. We've got a looting.
Yeah. I will say, this hand is very predicated on this Faithless Looting. Like, if it were not for said Faithless Looting, I would not have kept this hand necessarily. There is an interesting decision point here. We can Faithless Looting, or we could Ingot Chewer away their star and possibly screw them.
I would Ingot Chewer an Expedition map here, but I don't know about star.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Map, I would absolutely sneak it off right away. Alright, let's Faithless Looting. Fetch Shock. Cast Blood Crypt. Untapped. And Faithless Looting. Let's see what we get. Spin the wheel. I mean, worst comes to worst, we just dump Gravecrawler and Bloodghast, and we're happy in general.
Correct. So I'm looking, and this weekend's Modern Challenge, Hogaak Vine took 8 of the top 32 slots in the competition. Oh, so there's 1/4 of the decks present in the top 8. However, according to another article I'm looking at, Hogaak Vine is currently 0.17% of the meta.
Interesting. Okay. Well, as we were expecting, dumping in the Gravecrawler and the Bloodghast, drew a Gauntlet Shrine and the Gravecrawler. Not the best Faithless Looting I've ever had, but does the thing.
I also like the fun interaction here of Carrion Feeder and Gravecrawler, which helps accentuate the fun interactions of why Gravecrawler skyrocketed in price recently.
I was very happy that Gravecrawler was part of my acquire all the cards in Modern purchases that I did near the end of last year.
Yes. Yeah, if you ever just have like some spare money lying around, just buy random Modern cards, because you never know.
Some of these are significantly better investments than actual investing.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Ingot Chewer away the Expedition map here is my belief. What say you, sir?
I like that quite a bit. Okay. And what's fun here, too, is if we want, we could put out a Carrion Feeder, and with the Evoke trigger on the stack, we could sack Ingot Chewer to Carrion Feeder to get a free counter.
I had never thought of that line before you just mentioned it, and I'm so happy. Oh yes, we also get a Bloodghast.
And we get a Bloodghast. Oh boy.
Oh boy. We exile a card from our graveyard.
Remember, friends, triggers are fun.
They are. That is a super saucy line. I love it. Yes, I want to use Bloodghast ability Moto. Alright, so the proper sequence.
Why wouldn't I?
It's why I play the deck. We get basic swamp here. Alright, so basic swamp for the Carrion Feeder. I love this line so much. I'm so excited that I get to do this right now.
You're welcome.
Yep. Well done. My goodness.
Two better than one.
Alright, so evoke trigger first. Destroy target artifact second. Activate Carrion Feeder to sacrifice Ingot Chewer. Get a counter. I love this deck. Alright, that's a turn. I'm hoping that kept them off of Tron. Because we are a little weak to some exiling effects right now. Nope.
Of course not.
Of course not. Outside assistance, indeed. It's okay, that's downgraded to a game loss now. It's fine.
You say judge, but hi, it's us.
Yeah, what happens if the judge you call who gave outside assistance is the one who was actually responding to the call? Okay. Karn Father comes out. We'll probably try to get rid of our Carrion Feeder. Or give us free value.
That's fun. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
And so this next turn, we can even cast Grave Crawlers just to make... Oh, no, never mind. We're already big enough to kill Karn.
Oh, yeah.
This is great.
This is just an auto-kill Karn right now, and then just load up the battlefield with things to sacrifice to Carrion Feeder.
Yeah, so consequently, if they targeted our Carrion Feeder there, then Karn would make it at least one more turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you, opponent.
So
we appreciate...
We drew a Bloodghast. We could just play Bloodghast, sack Bloodghast to Carrion Feeder, smash. Actually, no. I think we can use our mana a little more efficiently. We can flash back a Faithless Looting.
We have looting in the bin, yes.
Okay.
But we would have to play our land to cast looting.
Yes, but we do have one Godless Shrine in hand that we can use to cast looting, and then still have a Bloodstained Mire for 2 triggers for Bloodghast later on, especially considering we can dump a Bloodghast into our hand with the Faithless, into our yard with the Faithless Looting.
Ooh. Saucy.
So let's try that. Bloodghast on the field, that's fine. Yes, use Bloodghast ability. Let's flashback Faithless Looting pre-combat. See what we get. Okay.
Okay.
Gravecrawler and Bloodghast into the bin.
Seems great to me.
Fine by me. And now we kill Karn.
Take that, Karn.
Yep. And I'm kind of liking that we're not hitting any Hogaaks yet, because their relic is moderately annoying us, although they're not activating it as often as they should be. Like, they should be trying to get us to get rid of a card every turn so that eventually we have to start getting rid of real cards, but they seem to not care.
Yeah. Notably, our opponent is not playing optimally,
yes.
Which, as I was looking into some stuff on this deck during sideboarding, it seems like a lot of at least an amount of success that people have had with this deck so far is the fact that it's still moderately new, so people aren't quite optimal on how to play against it, which definitely adds up in points. You know, it's not a negligible amount.
Right.
So.
Well, boo and hiss on that Grafdigger's Cage. That's not phenomenal. Although, realistically, I think we're kind of okay.
Man, opponents just got all the mana, too.
Yeah. They're not doing a huge amount with it, though. So, one thing I am noticing... Wait. What? Okay, I'm just confused by, like, going out of the way to sacrifice everything from graveyards now when they have Grafdigger's protection.
They want that card.
Either that or... Because the other line I was just thinking of was if we draw Hogaak, we could still delve away stuff, tap the creatures on the battlefield, and cast it from our hand. So I guess that kind of shuts that line down, although I have a Stitcher Supplier in hand, which means I'm going to refill very quickly.
Yep. Yeah, so single-handedly, a Stitcher Supplier could get us a Hogaak next turn.
Potentially.
If we're able to dump 6 in the bin, and then convoke it with the Carrion Feeder and the Bloodghast.
X equals 2 on Chalice.
Fascinating.
That's a bold choice there, Cotton. Let's see how this works out. Okay, so there's some commentary that this might not be an experienced Tron player, and that X equals 2 is wrong. I'm going to agree. Hey, look at that. Look who showed up to the party. Alright, so. Stitcher Supplier.
Yeah, so that could simply just be an opponent who wants to use all of their mana in a turn. And so even though it's not the correct line of play, even though Arena tells you that usually the best line of play is to use all the mana available.
And realistically, heuristics matter. Like, that's not a bad thing for them to advise you against, but you also have to know when you want to break from those heuristics.
Yes.
Okay, I want to start getting really saucy here, so...
Oh, and look at that Hogaak. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, look who showed up to the party here. So... Actually, hold on. How do I want to do this? I think we just go to combat here. I'm going to send the Carrion Feeder at Karn, Bloodghast at their face.
I like that.
Okay. And then pull some shenanigans after this. So, now I will sacrifice Bloodghast to there, make a zombie with our bridge from below, which still works despite your Grafdigger's Cage.
Yep.
I will play a Blood Crypt untapped. Get back 2 Bloodghasts. Yes and yes. I will... Oh, right, they don't actually come back. Alright, no big deal. Let us cast a Gravecrawler.
Perfect.
Use that to convoke... See, there I punted because I absolutely forgot that the Grafdigger's Cage was even on the battlefield, so... Take up those punts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But we still end up with a Hogaak. So, all things considered, we're doing all right. Yes, there should be a punt warning on our stream today of just This is how you play a deck very suboptimally because you're just trying to figure out how to play it. But as we discussed on our podcast, the Day 3 podcast a couple episodes ago, shameless plug, I love playing new decks because I could try to learn against the deck just sitting on the other side with my normal go-to Amulet Titan, or I could just sit in the driver's seat and just start thinking about what you need to do to play the deck better all the time, and then take that knowledge back to when I bring Amulet to the field. Karn Father coming up and trying to exile the Carrion Feeder.
Better choice this time, opponent.
Significantly better choice this time. Do I care about it being sacrificed? I never can get it back. I think I just sacrifice it anyway to fill up our yard a little bit more in case we need to cast another Hogaak.
Yes, definite sack for value here. Whether or not we can recur it, I feel, is less important.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Bridge from Below is a thing.
Yep. Bridge from Below is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Whoever designed that, well played, and get out of here.
Also, so glad you're not there anymore.
Alright, Stitcher Supplier. I mean, I guess it could just bring us more things into our graveyard. If we get another Bridge from Below or something like that, it's just gravy, even if we're not bringing stuff back. Alright, let's try it. I will be sad to see an Ingot Chewer go there, though, although I would be thrilled to get a Shenanigans into the graveyard. There's a Hogaak. And a Vengevine that won't come back. And a Bloodghast that won't come back. And another Bloodghast that won't come back. Okay. I kind of feel like Wholeness in hand. Let's send a zombie at Karn, a zombie at Karn, Hogaak at face, Gravecrawler at face. Just swinging for 10 to the face while taking care of a 7-mana Planeswalker and BD. And pass the turn. This deck kind of laughs at Tron, which is not something many decks actually do. Alright. 15. Oh no, is this Emmy? Well played, opponent. Well done. Gave me the mild heart attack that an Emrakul was coming onto the battlefield.
I mean, when you can tap for 15, you should tap for 15.
Mm-hmm. So that's 2-0 in our first round of this competitive Modern League. This is also the 5th 2-0 I've gotten with this deck today. One of my wins was a 2-1, and then I had an 0-2 against one deck. I forget what. But I've done a string of 2-0s, which is kind of awesome with a deck even when you're suboptimally playing it, which is terrifying.
Very scary.
Very scary. With that, I'm going to actually set the laptop down for a second to go grab a beverage. I've decided that tonight's stream is also going to be a mildly inebriated stream because punts are just that much more entertaining when you're also mildly inebriated. So, hang tight. Dalton, you will be the voice of reason for the cast.
Oh, that's a really scary place to be.
Yeah, well, somebody has to be, and I have been deemed the Baron of bad ideas at one point in my life or another, so, like, I feel like it shouldn't necessarily be me, even if I wasn't mildly inebriated.
I mean, Baron's a pretty reasonable title, like, that's got some sway and some power to it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I
that can't, like, respect or something?
Sure.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. I mean, I guess it just makes it so that I can be a little bit more like... Oh, that is saucy. So in chat we have throwing around ideas, throwing an Athreos in as a fun of in the deck.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, yikes indeed. Is that just better than a Neonate? I don't know. That's something to think about.
Maybe at the end, because that sounds hilarious. This opener,
not loving it.
I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing things, but they're all fair things. And
if one of those acts looting, this hand would be phenomenal.
Yeah, if that second Hogaak was a looting, I would have sneaked this 2 minutes ago. Athreos is kind of saucy. I'm now about to go spec on Athreos, just because.
That spec'd way hard already.
Also true. Mulligan this hand, I think.
Above 30 right now with... Oh yes, easy mulligan.
Ooh.
Okay.
Much better. Much better.
Yeah.
Still would love a way to get this bridge in the graveyard, but Stitcher Supplier opening hand is real good.
Do you think it makes more sense to carry on feeder on one?
It might. However, with... Oh no, we're going to draw this. Because we're on the draw.
Ooh. I don't like drawing that.
Me neither. Put it to the bottom.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. If we were on the play, I would have snapped off that Stitcher Supplier right away.
Definitely Supplier on one there.
Yeah. Oh. Stop that.
Okay. Tossies on one. What? You're not taking bridge.
Bridge from below. Bridge from below. They're not going to do it, but bridge from below would be awesome.
Please, opponent, don't read the cards.
It's like, oh, 3-mana enchantment. Must be powerful. Let's dump it. I love this art, too.
I think one of the most fun things you could do with an Athreos 2 is just to cast your bridge from below for 3 devotion.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Hey, Marcos, the point is moot. We can't Stitcher Supplier on one.
Yep. Well, I suppose we just carry on feeder and pass. This is a significantly more underwhelming hand now that they got rid of our Stitcher Supplier.
Yeah. Now I think I'd like to see maybe some Grave Crawlers, Faithless Looting.
Yeah, Faithless Looting would be gas right now. Yes.
Alright, so opponent Blood Crypt, Shock on one. Fetch Basic Swamp.
Looks like we're playing Jund.
Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't... Fetch Basic Swamp is not a Death Shadow deck.
Ooh, hello, Insolent Neonate. To help get our bridge from below into the graveyard. Fun fact, Insolent Neonate will trigger bridge from below because you discard first and then sacrifice a creature as part of paying the costs. So, order it is written on the card as you're activating the costs matters. Got there. And a Gravecrawler. Sweet. I think I'm just putting out another carry-on feeder just for some redundancy. Seems like a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's something that's going to punish us for boarding up.
Nope. I'm going to attack in here because if they want to block with a Dark Confidant, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
They want to block with the Dark Confidant. do we go all in here and load up and keep our 1 carrion feeder? I think that's too greedy.
I think so as well. If we had a Gravecrawler, I'd be fine with that, but...
Yeah, in retrospect, putting out the Gravecrawler as opposed to the carrion feeder probably would have been better there, but... We do get a Zombo out of it because of the Bridge from Below, though.
Yeah. And opponent's already on 15. They've done quite a bit of work for us.
Yep. Alright. Oh, wait, did I order these properly? Okay, I get good. Whew. I forget that with Bridge from Below, when you trade, you have to order them properly, otherwise you don't get the zombie. Because there's an intervening if on Bridge from Below.
Yep.
So. But it's okay, in my inebriated state, I just automatically knew which one of those was the right trigger to put on first.
Good.
What? Legion Warboss? What are you even?
So, red-black trade binder?
Might be. I mean...
Well, it's an easy eat.
Yeah. Zombie hungry.
Yeah, these zombies keep their Warboss quite at bay.
Mm-hmm. Boblins. That's awesome.
Boblins.
That just made my day. Alright, let's... Alter Dementia. Gravecrawler, I think just sack Gravecrawler to Alter Dementia. Or do we sacrifice it to Carrion Feeder?
Huh.
That's a very good question here.
I think I like sacking the first one to Carrion Feeder. Just so that it's bigger than a goblin.
Sure.
I don't know if that's actually going to make a difference, but...
Well, are we attacking this turn?
I don't think so. So, to be fair, we definitely could attack with the Carrion Feeder.
Yeah.
And if they want to trade the Warboss for that, I think we are more than happy.
Right.
Because that Warboss is just going to keep making more and more little dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And we already have a sack outlet on board.
Yeah, I think we can put Carrion Feeder and a zombie token into the red zone right now and just see how that goes. Leave one zombie back to block the chump goblin they send at us. And see what happens. And then if we need another blocker, we can always Alter Dementia the Gravecrawler and be fine. So yeah, let's send both a Carrion Feeder and a zombie into the red zone and see what happens.
Is this potentially a suboptimal play? You bet.
Potentially. Alright, no blocks.
Red-Black Goblins pulled a 5-0 this week.
Are you serious?
I mean, there are some good ones. The 3-mana Legion Drunk Party Gang. Siege Gang Commander.
Or Goblin War Chief, you mean?
No, Siege Gang Commander. So it's a black one. It's 3 mana for a 1/1.
Oh, yes. Okay, the black one.
I think that one looks really hot. It gives you a little bit of health in the late game and allows you to do something with your goblins from like a war chief or a war boss or a war marshal without actually having to go to combat. So you get around ensnaring bridges.
Whoa.
Like.
That's aggressive.
Second. Ooh. Don't like that as much.
Not at all. I'm going to sack the Gravecrawler to the Dementia. Just load up our graveyard a little bit more, see what more we can get out of there, and have blockers for the 2 goblins coming in.
Sure. Yeah, and if they want to trade one of these war bosses to get a counter on a goblin,
yes.
Please.
Siege Gang Lieutenant, I believe.
There you go.
Wait, why did this come in tapped? Wait, what? Oh, we don't have the bridge from below anymore.
Oh yeah, Bob.
Duh, that's right. Okay. Okay, mentor away, and we'll gladly trade a zombie for a Legion War Boss. That's fine.
Oh yeah, yes please, thank you.
Leave it. Okay.
Oh good, more creatures that can't block.
Ah, but it does give us the ability to Gravecrawler,
Bridgevine,
put out the blood gas, and then bring back our buddy Bridgevine. Always yes. Always yield.
So, Gravecrawler can't block, Carrion Feeder can't block, and Bloodghast can't block. So right. I think I appreciate leaving the 2/2 zombie back.
Yeah. I think this is a solid attack here. And probably actually just sacrifice the Gravecrawler to the Carrion Feeder to add a little more oomph to the attack.
I don't see why not. I mean, if they block, if they try to eat it, then definitely.
Yeah, but I doubt they would do that. Yeah, they didn't. I still feel like that's a good idea.
It's not blocking anyways.
Right.
And now any Bloodghast we have come back with haste.
Mm-hmm. And now, actually, I'm leaving the Bloodghast there as opposed to putting it onto the Carrion Feeder because I may want to just sacrifice it to Altar of Dementia and see what more we can get out of our graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's nice is these goblins have to attack.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they're going to create more chump blockers each turn.
Right. Ooh. Bold move.
Watch out for Trumpet Blast.
Trumpet Blast is a thing, I guess. Jeez. Leave the one blocker back. Well, I mean, we have to block the War Boss. There's no way around that.
Definitely.
Like, as much as we can try and watch out for War Blast doesn't give you any more defense, so eat him.
No.
Nom 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 nom. Dreadhorde Arcanist. Are you
so
serious?
red-black trade binder. Okay.
Yeah. Alright. No, it's Junk Trade Binder.
Oh.
They're running the Overgrown Tomb. Le Bob. Bob has returned. Alright, I'm going to sacrifice the Bloodghast to the Altar of Dementia here. Just see if we can find a Hogaak or something.
So you do have to be mindful, we are at 7.
Yes. Well, we found the Hogaak. And a Bloodghast. Or no, the Bloodghast is what we dropped. So we dropped a Carrion Feeder and a Hogaak into the graveyard. Hogaak is solid. Hogaak is also solid. How do we do this? Well, our mana isn't going to do much to help us cast what's in hand, so let's just use it to get as much back from our graveyard as possible.
Yes, please.
How aggressive do we want to be here? Okay, so let's think this through. If we attack with a Vengevine and a Carrion Feeder, they have to block, or they lose.
Yes.
So they will likely block Dreadhorde Arcanist onto Vengevine, probably. Or maybe they'll just Bob. No, they'll probably just put Bob down as a blocker. So Bob in front of Vengevine, Goblin in front of Carrion Feeder.
Yeah, I assume Bob dies.
Yeah.
Because when they're at 5, there's no way they're hoping.
Right, so then they attack us back with 2, 4, 5, plus whatever they can do next turn. But then we'll be able to put out the Hogaak. So, like... That's an interesting line. Sack Vengevine to alter. Sack Gravecrawler to alter. Hopefully mill over a bridge. That's potential. But I think we can do that after attacks. Because we always have the option to sacrifice there, but we just kind of have to pressure them to attack in, or to block with something, because otherwise we're just going to lose on the wide board on the crackback. So, let's go to combat. Attack with Vengevine and Carrion Feeder. And see their blocks. I like that idea of possibly milling over a bridge. So Bob definitely jumps in front of Vengevine, Goblin in front of Carrion
So what
Feeder.
spells do they have in their yard for Arcanist?
Right, so
anything?
They have a Thoughtseize, which they're not going to cast with such low life total. And that's it.
Yeah.
So Arcanist is really just a trampling 1/3. Ah. I think that happens. Okay. So at this point, sacrifice Vengevine first. What do we get? Alright, Stitcher Supplier, Vengevine, Hogaak, Insolent Neonate. Okay. Well, this isn't blocking, so let's sacrifice the Gravecrawler as well. Whoa! Oh. What?
I don't think we won there.
No, that was very much a question mark. Like, we were running on the thinnest of margins there. I will chalk this up to people are too terrified of this deck. Hello, pups. Hi, buddy. Come here, say hi to everybody. This is Carlos. Hi, buddy. What's up? Say hello to the world. They're all watching you. I know, it's late. We'll lay down.
Yes, Mongoose. We will take those.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be said for the fact that people are terrified of this deck and just don't know how to play against it yet. So, alright. So black-green, I want Silent Gravestones to protect against Surgicals.
So they do have a lot of creatures that we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
So Leyline of the Void to cancel out, and Dreadhorde Arcanist as well. So Leyline of the Void doesn't seem like a horrible card to bring in.
That's true.
If we can afford the slots.
Yeah.
Because it's going to shut down our bridges as well as provide them fodder for the Arcanist.
Right. So let's look here. So we're bringing in Silent Gravestones just because I think Surgical is a very likely thing, especially Surgical and Scavenging Ooze I think are both likely targets for them to bring in. Wispmare, that's only if they're bringing in Leylines, and I don't know if this deck would run Leylines or not. I'm willing to say that I won't bring it in game 2 unless I see it. Then I'll bring it in game 3. Leyline of the Voids is a good option here. How does Necrotic Wound line up against what they're doing, do you think?
Necrotic Wound in response to a Dreadhorde Arcanist would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Or even before their war bosses start spitting out tokens, just snipe them away. Instant speed.
Yep.
So 2 Necrotic Wounds. Well, like I said beforehand, my first go-to to get rid of are Insolent Neonates. So let's just chop those. And I don't think bringing anything else helps much, like Brian mentions there. Diluting our game plan too much is not great. Oh, hey, that's a thing. I should also be watching our clock. Whoops.
Yeah, that is not a good hand.
That's not ideal. Nope. Neither is the fact that I don't know if we actually submitted our deck changes. Yep, we definitely did not, because those are insolent neonates.
Oh, fun.
Rats. Now,
rats in.
With this hand, though, I think it's fine. Insolent Neonate gets our Vengevine into our graveyard. Stitcher Supplier loads up our graveyard. So realistically, I think we can do this.
Two triggers Vengevine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sign me up.
All right. So let's.
And like this hand's pretty Thoughtseize proof too.
Ooh. Hello, Faithless Looting.
Yes, please.
Please do. Oh no. Well.
Oh no, thank.
I know what I'm boarding in game 3. Wait, they kept a no-lander?
So Gravecrawler beats.
Yes, actually.
Got it.
I'm entirely 100% on board with that. I will probably Stitcher Supplier here. Even though we're going to lose cards, I don't care. If they kept a no-lander, we need to press our advantage on the board, and Neonates can help later on when they don't have as many creatures.
Agreed.
Okay. Sure, let's exile some cards. What do we lose? We lost 2 lands and a Carrion Feeder. Fine by me.
Well, okay.
That was an aggressive keep from our opponent. They found a land. Okay. Now we can play a game of Magic. Inquisition. We'll probably get rid of the Neonate. I would love to see them try and get rid of the Vengevine, not realizing that we can't cast it. Nope, didn't happen. Okay. One can only hope. Bid from below. You do literally nothing.
Devotion.
Alright, let's just get in for 1.
So it looks like they mulled to 6 that game.
Mm-hmm. They were aggressively looking for their ley line to the point where they didn't even keep a hand with a land in it. So, I say, I feel like Bridge from Below and Vengevine do nothing if we have ley line. I kind of like a Faithless Looting here.
I agree. Try to get something like a Gravecrawler or
another Faithless Looting.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Get rid of these.
Also, them having Leyline makes Necrotic Wound significantly worse.
We didn't bring it in. We only have the 1 now.
I'm aware, but
yes.
When we go to game 3...
That's a good point. I will take out the Necrotic Wounds for the Wisp Mares for sure. Do we try another Faithless Looting and just try and load our hand up with something worthwhile at this point? Or do we stick to Neonate and try to push an onboard advantage?
Neonate gives the 1/1 menace, but how much?
I mean, I think we just kind of have to start beating as much as we can. We can Faithless Looting next turn. It's not ideal, but, I mean, they kept a 1-lander, so I'm pretty sure they're not playing the optimal hand here, and the best way for us to get through that is just keep pressing in whatever advantage we can get.
Yeah, and looting's going to get better when we have more cards that we don't care to pitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if we draw a dud next turn, then looting just saves us.
Exactly.
Push the Neonates. Do we activate this to try and draw a card? I don't think so because we have our Faithless Looting plan.
I mean, I don't see why not. either we loot something reasonable that we can cast, or...
Yeah, but then the math for the cards that we discard to Faithless Looting next turn gets off. Like, if I dump something here, I'm dumping the Bloodstained Mire, meaning my Faithless Looting only nets me... Basically, it's just filtering me cards as opposed to netting me any cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can lose the Neonate. Goodbye, friend. Carrion Feeder. That's a creature to play. Let's run it. Stitcher Beads. Get them.
Get there.
They have 3 cards left in hand. I mean, as ludicrous as this is to say, we might be able to get there with 1/1s. It's not a...
I agree. It is ludicrous.
Alright, well, we're eating their removal spells, but Stitcher Supplier is going to get us there. I'm calling it now. Thoughts?
Only 6 turns away.
Yep. Well, nothing we can do about that. Gravecrawler, just what we wanted to see. Alright, well... Let's attack.
Say that gives us a 5-turn clock now instead of 14 turn.
Hey, it worked. Aw, boo. They're down to 1 card in hand, though.
Wow.
I mean, so are we, but we have a creature and they don't. And they still don't. I'm calling it. Stitcher Beats. Get them.
Man, I want to know what that card... Like, they got to be sandbagging the land, right?
Maybe?
There's no way they wouldn't use a removal spell yet.
Maybe it's like a 2 Legion War Bosses.
Oh, that's probably right.
3 Legion War Bosses. I'm calling it now. Altar does literally nothing. Stitcher Beats. Get him.
Jeez.
Oh no, they found a castable spell. Bob.
Well, we can let Bob go to work.
Yeah?
Awkward.
That's a very awkward card to have. I should have fetched before our turn. I was literally like hovering over the Bloodstained Mire to try and get something out of the way. Boo and hiss. Alright, I mean, I'm still attacking. Am I not?
I don't know. I mean, remember how aggressively they traded Bob away last game?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we had a bridge in the yard, but what are the chances that if they do, I mean, if they can't cast these spells in hand?
But them getting card advantage, if they're aggressively going to trade off Bob, then I'm fine with that because then we're on a similar kind of card advantage. Whereas if they just sit there with Bob for 10 turns, they're going to run away with the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like giving them the choice as to how this is going to play out from here, but sitting back and just letting them keep drawing cards is not going to win us a game.
Yeah.
Stitcher Beats! No! Stop! Why do you keep doing that? God. They're not blocked. Stitcher Beats are getting there. Let's fetch and get stuff anyways. Don't pay life for it, and go.
Come on. Reveal something big.
Hey, 3-mana Magus of the Moon?
Yes!
Wow. They didn't play a land, so they're not playing the Magus of the Moon. Next fetch lane, I need to find my swamp, but beyond that, I think we're fine here. Ooh, and a hiss. Magus of the Moon? No, Legion Warboss. Okay, so they're trying to put the clock down too. That's fair. Gravecaller cannot block. Stitcher Supplier. You're no longer the path to victory. Again, Inquisition. I mean, if we stay live long enough, they might just kill themselves with Dark Confidant? Is that where we're at now?
Yeah? I mean, 6 isn't a great life total. It's not like they've had some good luck. I think no blocks here.
I'm okay with that.
And then try to crack back for 6.
Yep.
Or for 3, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then just hope they flip another Legion Warboss.
Yeah. Well, now they can put out a Magus of the Moon, so they're still going to be able to take something from it.
They do have one, yes.
But that's still fine by us, realistically.
Yeah, and we can definitely still attack in with the Gravecrawler, and I mean, hell, why not with the Stitcher at this point?
Right.
There's a mountain.
I mean, yeah, so right now our only win condition here is they just flip up a really expensive card, like another Leyline to Bob.
So I think you have to attack with just Gravecrawler. Leave... No, so they're going to have 6 get through no matter what. So we just have to attack with both.
Yep. I will consider this a Stitcher Supplier victory if we keep attacking with it enough to get them down to this point where they flip over a Leyline to Bob and lose the game. I'm saying that right now. Burning Catacombs, damn it.
No!
Alright.
Alright.
They did the thing. On to game 3 where we can actually sideboard. And we have 5 minutes left on the clock, so I'm not going to interact in chat as much. Actually, I don't even care about Silent Gravestone here. What?
Hold up.
Oh.
The deck is so good you win even when you lose.
What just happened? Is this deck that terrifying? Like, I'm sorry. Our opponent had to have seen that we had 5 minutes left on our game clock. We were at the point where we had to, like, fly through our turns and, like... Oh my goodness.
Huh.
What just happened?
So I know our original goal is to, like, showcase the power of the deck. Like, I don't know if I consider this showcasing the power or not.
I think it's showing the modern menace that is this deck. That is 2 opponents now who have both been like, I am scared to death of this deck and don't want to put up with it anymore, therefore I'm giving up game equity. Which,
yeah, I mean, I guess...
While not the most thrilling victories, they are still a victory. And I mean, just the fact that we're presenting this deck is enough to make a opponent concede, which I guess is something.
Huh.
I'm shocked. Yeah.
I'm glad there's video proof.
Yeah, there's video proof. Hogaak is terrifying enough to make people just concede instead of actually going to game 3. Wow.
Man, do know how beautiful that would have been if they flipped Leyline of the Void? Oh.
Yeah, I was really hoping, because, I mean, at that point, it would have entirely been a Stitcher Supplier win because we were bashing in with it for so long to put ourselves in that position.
Yes.
Like, play to every single one of your outs, as always. Whew. Okay. Well, then.
On to the next one.
And another one. Put this in all the group chats. Put this out in the world. Let everyone know of the current modern menace that is Hogaak Bridgevine.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, a win is a win, whether you win by an inch or a mile, right?
Yeah? I don't know, like, I think we won by, like, going backwards, though. I don't even know how that win fits in that metaphor.
Listen, it worked in Ready Player 1, and that's good enough for me.
I haven't seen it.
You should watch it. No, actually, you should watch it. That's a very minor spoiler, but you should watch it because it's a very entertaining movie.
Ugh. I've heard very good things.
Highly recommend it. All right, we are on the play.
Yay.
And our opening hand is a pair of Bloodghast, a Stitcher Supplier, a Faithless Looting, and a Hogaak.
Oh, that's fun.
I love everything about this hand.
Yeah, easy.
Sneep it.
Take the Hogaak, probably.
Yeah, I'm going to Stitcher Supplier and then turn 2 Faithless Looting, I think.
Probably. See what we hit with the Stitcher in case we mill over another Bloodghast.
Mm-hmm. And we have another fetch land in hand too, so we can do good things.
Yeah, and regardless of the way we process this, those Bloodghast aren't coming back to the battlefield until turn 2 anyways.
Right. 2 lands in an altered dimension. Not the best Stitcher Supplier, but it does things.
It's nice getting those lands out of the way.
Yep. We have access to get our white-black. Snow-covered swamp. Oh, are we playing the Sultai Snow deck? They played a Marsh Flats into a snow-covered swamp. I'm calling it. We're playing against the Sultai Snow deck.
I mean, I'd like to see it. Ooh.
Okay. We can put out Hogaak right now.
Oh, that's so mean. I say we do it.
Yeah, I love it. Let's do this. Go for our Godless Shrine. Hogaak. Oh wait, no, we can't do it right now. Boo and hiss. Oh yes, we can do it right now. I'm sorry. Stitcher Supplier. That's right. I keep defaulting to actually trying to tap lands to cast spells. Silly me and my years and years of... Ooh. And we get a Vengevine. Silly me with all these years of using lands to cast spells. Always yes to Vengevine.
Oh, and we get cheese.
And that's a turn 2 win. That is a turn 2 win, everyone.
God, I feel bad.
I don't.
I'm not even piloting this deck, and I
love every second of this. I don't even know what we do in this kind of sideboard here, because I've never played against this Sultai Snow deck, if it even is that. We saw a white... No, it's a... I don't even know what we're playing against. I'm just going to run it back the same way. I can't try and...
Alright. So theoretically, Sultai Snow is a Abominable Tree Folk, Ice... No, this is just...
Icefang Quaddle, the Toxic Deluge for Snow, and then just good black-green stuff. But they played a Marsh Flats, so it might be an Esper Snow list, of which I don't know what to do with.
Assassin's Trophy, Cryptic Command, Fatal Push, Opt, Pulse of Marasa, Remand, Spell Snare. Ice Fang, Quaddle, Snapcaster Mage, V-Click, Jace, the Mind Sculptor, Narset, Parter of Veils.
I care not about any of this. I'm just going to resubmit the same deck. We can...
So, notably, the lists I'm finding run Leyline of the Voids.
Okay. Let's...
So, Wisp a hedge.
Let's do 3 Wisp-Mares, because we can evoke them relatively cheaply, too, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's do 3 Wisp-Mares in place of 2 Neonates and a Necrotic Wound.
Or, not Neonate shenanigans. We could pull some Carrion Feeder shenanigans.
Yes. That's a fair enough hedge. I like that.
It's modern, it's black deck, play against Leyline.
Yeah, that's fair.
Alright, so what does this look like?
A whole lot of things that should be in our graveyard and no way to get them there.
Correct.
Mulligan.
So, the hand size.
Yep. Ooh. A whole lot of things we can't cast because we have no mana.
Yeah. Also not fun.
Not like this. Oh, not like this.
Okay, so here's the question. At what point do we just keep to figure out what our opponent is on?
Oh, there was a mono black devotion deck. Well, I mean, I'm gonna try and find any way out on this. Like, I'm actually very curious to see how well this mulligans. So, oh my goodness.
I think you have to keep that one.
Yeah, because literally any land off the top turns on our deck.
Yep, doesn't matter what land you find off the top, you have a turn 1 play.
Oh, this is painful. Well, good that we hedged. Bad that we didn't draw anything to be able to cast anything we hedged with. Marsh Flats. Well, we got our land.
Ha! Look at us.
Yep, and I think I kind of have to go for the Godless Shrine.
Curious, what did our opponent mulligan to?
5, 6, 7. They did not mulligan.
Wow, okay, so they had the leyline in the opening.
Yep.
Cool.
So here I'm thinking Godless Shrine because anything we start looting away or anything like that, if we get rid of our Godless Shrine, we cannot deal with the leyline.
Correct.
So, one of Godless.
It also might throw them off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Godless Shrine does seem like an odd one.
Yeah. Not that it's going to matter a huge amount, but... Oh, speaking of Godless Shrines. Theirs is prettier, though.
I'm sorry if you're jealous.
Gifted Aetherborn. I officially have no idea what's in their deck.
Are we black-white vampires?
Could be. Oh, this...
And by we, of course.
This might be the Black Devotion deck. I did see Saffron Olive tweet out something earlier today that said, specifically, not as broken as Hogaak, but a fun deck nonetheless, and he had, like, multiple Grey Merchant of Asphodels and Gifted Aetherborns on the field.
Huh.
Alright, well, we're going to lose cards to this, but who cares? We need a board presence. Let's see what we lose. Oh, there goes Wisp-Mare.
Dang.
Not the worst, though. No attacks and pass. Take it. If this is Mono Black Devotion, I will be thoroughly bemused. not mono black diversion. Another carry-on feeder. Well, this at least gets us something that can kill that Aetherborn in a trade, I guess?
Yeah?
Like, just slow down the clock enough that we're not going to get completely overrun here. Yeah. Really, I'm just playing this out to see as much of their deck as humanly possible.
Sure.
Because this game was virtually lost when... Oh, we can't even trade. That's right, this can't block. No. Oh, goodness. What am I doing with my life right now? Let's sacrifice. Deny them some lifelink.
Got him.
Phyrexian Obliterator.
Oh, gross.
What is this? This might be that devotion deck that just is running Lingering Souls for funsies. Altar of Dementia does literal nothing. Yeah. Black-white devotion. What in the world?
Well, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep playing until they actually kill us, because the more information, the better. Especially when you have literal no idea what your opponent is doing. Can't block, won't block. Woulda. Hard cast Leyline of the Void. Bold. Stitcher Supplier to block. Oh no, Dalton's phone died. Hard cast Bridge from below would be kind of gross. Well, that was utterly disgusting. So, 4th Wispmare in. Necrotic Wounds actually, I think, could be fine here. At least 2. I'm going to take out an Altar of Dementia. Yeah, Obliterator seems really good here. Take out the Neonates. And I think that's fine. Dalton has returned.
Awesome. All right. Marcos, if you could send me...
I'm sorry, if I could send you the what?
Back to screen share.
Alright, should be good. Alright, I think this is how we're going to do.
There we go.
All the remaining Wispmares brought back into Necrotic Wounds to deal with some of their earlier dropped creatures, since we can't profitably block anything. And otherwise, don't want to dilute it too much.
Necrotic Wound also seems great against the late.
Yep, absolutely. Alright, let's run it, see what happens. Wow. What a do-nothing hand.
Huh.
All the sideboard cards, no way to fetch white mana. Vengevine we can't cast, and a Necrotic Wound that will deal 0.
Yep, as a reminder, no green sources in the deck.
No green sources in the deck. This is much better. This is much better. The Wingmare isn't, or the Wispmare is fine as just a defense against the ley line. Necrotic Wound is meh. Having an altar is fine, but we can get the mana to get our Wispmare, and then basically anything off the top is live. This isn't ideal, but this is significantly better
Yep.
than what
Once
we had
again,
before.
we can also stack some evoke triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So if we turn 2 altered, we could even turn 3 evoke the Wispmare and then sacrifice it to mill ourselves.
Yep.
See if they have that ley line.
Faithless Looting is sweet right now. No ley line. Excellent. Excellent start. Alright, so before anything, I'm getting my Godless Shrine. Not casting anything, so just tapped. And pass. Shambling Net. Pass. Carrion Feeder. Excellent.
Okay. I mean, if they're not pressuring our graveyard, then I see no reason not to carry on Feeder.
Yeah.
We can Altar of Dementia and evoke a Wispmare on turn 3, so I think we just play the Gravecrawler now.
Yep.
Or carry on Feeder.
I dig it. Susceptible to a fatal push, but you know, no guts, no glory, right?
Isn't everything.
Okay. Collective Brutality.
I guess Wispmare is not.
Get to do it anyways. Alright. Alter and a Carrion Feeder. Ready to do shenanigans with Wispmares if they ever decide to put out a ley line. At this point, the ley line is kind of not hugely to worry about, but I mean, technically,
Yeah, we don't have to worry about it till turn 4.
Yeah. Bloodghast.
Or rather, till land 4.
Do we Bloodghast, sack it to Carrion Feeder or to fill out Graveyard?
I think casting it pre-combat and seeing if they push it or try to get rid of it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, action. If they try to interact with our Carrion Feeder, it's just getting sacrificed to Altar of Dementia.
Exactly.
On our Altar of Dementia.
Oh.
Okay.
Fun. There's not much we can do about it.
Yeah, I don't like sacrificing a Carrion Feeder to it. There's no reason to, so...
Not for one.
Yeah. Fair play, opponent. Fair play. Sacrifice the Bloodghast to the Carrion Feeder, you think? Actually, I don't even think so. We don't have a guaranteed way to get it back next turn.
No, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
If we had a land in hand, yes.
Yeah.
Either way, the 2 represent 4 damage over the course of the next 2 turns. Or rather, this turn and next turn. But once we hit that 3rd turn, it starts to change course to making it... Oh, that's no fun.
We can still get it, though. So, play a Bloodghast, sacrifice both Bloodghast to Carrion Feeder, Necrotic Wound their Aetherborn, bash for 3.
It's a play.
It is a play. It's not ideal, but it leaves us with some interaction for later on if they try to mess with our graveyard, and it gets damage in. And I don't think they have the kind of resources that they can get away with being consistently bashed. This is a very aggressive play, I will say. But them having lifelink and death touch is real gross.
Yeah, just the lifelink alone is scary enough.
Speaking of lifelink alone, haven't seen you in a minute, friend.
They do have a shambles. Oh.
So
Kalidas.
Yeah. So, as bad as this seems, hard cast the Wingmare? Doesn't help us cast Hogaak anytime soon.
No. No, it does not.
I think we just pass. I don't see anything else we can really do here.
Yeah?
Okay, aggressive line, not as good. I think we need to have a little bit more of our engine in place to be that aggressive, looking back on it now. But that's why we're doing this. Reminder to everybody, this is literally the first day that we're playing with this deck whatsoever. Dalton had not played with this deck at all until we actually started on this stream today, and I had only gotten 5 or 6 matches in earlier today in just first testing out the deck. So we are still learning, but happy to learn. Okay, so wait, what? Whenever, if a non-tweaking creature an opponent controls would die, exile it, and they get a 2/2 zombie. So, if we evoke our Wingmare, they're going to get a 2/2 zombie. And it'll be exiled.
Correct.
Which is fine, because then we're still just dealing with their ley line.
Yep.
And if we sacrifice it still to the carry-on feeder, we do still get the extra trigger, which helps us just be a little bit more emphatic.
So to be fair, we also are seeing 2 replacement effects here. And since they replace a permanent that we own, we get to choose which replacement effect applies.
What's
Therefore,
the replacement effect?
Leyline of the Void.
Oh yeah.
So we get to determine which one applies, so that they don't have to get a zombie.
Nice. Well, let's see that in action.
We just want to make sure we stack the die trigger before the destroy trigger.
Yes, so destroy target enchantment.
Or rather, do so with the carry-on feeder.
Okay. So, evoke trigger, sacrifice carry-on feeder right now.
Correct.
And then choose the replacement effect. Or not.
And remember, replacement effects choose which one applies first.
Yeah.
It's not like the stack.
But I didn't get to choose. It did just go to
I don't know how that translates to Moto.
Huh. That's weird. I mean, it worked out for us, but I didn't get to choose the replacement effect. It did just give me... Yes. It just exiled it and they got no zombie. Which I'm fine with, for what it's worth. But,
yeah.
That was interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so theoretically, that's like a totally legit game outcome.
Yeah. Sacrifice this. And this does also allow us to get our Hogaak back, which is fun. Alright, Hogaak. Tappy. Tappy. Tap, 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 tap. Hogaak.
Yay.
Not going to be super aggressive onto my carry-on feeder with the blood gas, because no huge reason to be. because right now the wider board definitely matters more.
Yep.
That was an interesting line of play. Obliterator comes in, does Obliterator things. Not many permanents. We could probably just sacrifice lands.
Come on.
Oh shit.
So
I was doing the Gravecrawler.
Doesn't all out when you? Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad move. Thank you. Another punt for the night. So yeah, what does an all-out swing do?
So if we all out swing, sacrifice 5 permanents, which could be our lands and a Bloodghast. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 17 power on board, and they have 2, 5, 12 toughness.
Well, right now, if we're attacking, the Obliterator can only block one thing, so it'll just make us sacrifice one thing.
It's how much damage is dealt to it.
Oh, Jesus, that's right. Oh yeah, so right now, not much benefit to an attack. Thank you for that, because like, genuinely, I think I've played against Phyrexian Obliterator all of twice before this, and I'd like never played the card myself. So yeah, hold back.
Yeah. Well, so if we swing, then they would have to block with at least 7 toughness worth.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd either be losing Kalitas or losing the Obliterator, which are both good for us. And having a Hogaak board, I don't know what they deal with. It can't get dismembered. It can't get... Ooh, sack that to Gravecrawler. Or Carrion Feeder.
Yes.
Get it. Get it. Ah. So... Oh, but they gain lifelink.
Yeah, the lifelink is the real bad part there. Nothing in our graveyard for that land.
So we could sack whatever gets blocked by Kalitas.
This is not ideal.
I would agree with that.
We don't have many engine pieces. We don't have a way to recover back a Hogaak if it dies. For it to die, thank you for the key chart time. If for it to die, they would have to block with these two to kill a Hogaak. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to lose some stuff, but it's not the worst. Alright, let's just attack all out.
Yeah.
It's not getting any better for us at this point.
I don't think so. I would have probably held that land in hand. So the 5 permanents we sack could be... Oh, we'll do 6 if they... Huh. So we can sack the Bloodghast so they don't gain life. We have to sack 5 permanents so we can do each of the lands Or we could crack this, get Bloodghast back, and then sack Bloodghast and lands.
Bloodghast was exiled to Kalidas' trigger.
Oh, Kalidas, yes, you're right.
Yeah, so we are now operating on no lands, but we are taking care of their Phyrexian Obliterator and still have a Biggins.
Yep.
So, reiterating, not ideal, but... oh no, they're tapping things. Okay. That's not terrible. Yes. I genuinely never actually read Phyrexian Obliterator enough to know that it was based off how much damage was dealt to it. That's really
it is
gross.
a fun one.
That is so disgusting. Why doesn't that see more play? And TG Bot is not being too cooperative. Oh, really? Well then. I'm just calling this game.
Well... Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably game.
They attacked correctly in that they didn't swing out with the second zombie. Because then, if they did, then we would have gotten them off the trample and didn't care about the sacrificing. But unless we draw a way to deal with that zombie, which we did not.
Yep.
Alright. That's that. Alright. Lost only the second match with this deck. And
Tonight. First
tonight,
of the
yes.
league.
First of the league, second match lost overall today, which is still not bad for the deck. So, with that, I'm going to take a second and step away. Dalton, you can entertain the crowd as my doggo has asked for me to open the door for him so he can go and get some food. So I shall return.
Ooh. All right.
Hi, doggo. Yes, I know.
So,
Doggo says hi.
friends and compatriots, why is there no milk on Bant? That would be because they are all lactose intolerant.
I can still hear you, and I'm loving this.
Welcome, welcome, Killagerm. How do you know that Archangel Avacyn just got back from the beach? That's because her back is all red. I'm glad I could help. Well, you are very welcome. You asked for entertainment, this is what I provide to you. Maybe it's best that Marcos is in charge tonight.
Don't disappoint.
What is getting banned in the next announcement? Oh boy. Well, when is the next announcement? MTG banned and restricted. Alright, so the last one was where they did the Pauper evisceration and got rid of Daze, Gush, and Gitaxian Probe
Yes.
from Pauper.
Because
Which-
G-Probe was too good for any format.
Commander. You got Commander.
Give it time.
Yep. So, next one is July 8th, so we got a little less than a month. I would not be surprised. So, basic island. Hogaak exists to sell cards, so Hogaak is not getting touched. Nor do I expect Hogaak Bridgevine to get touched.
You don't think
not
Bridge
while the
is...
set is still hot and new.
You don't think Bridge is not long for this world?
Lattice, I think, is fine. Because now you just hit him with the collector oof, and no one can play Magic. I would probably imagine that... I honestly imagine no change in any format.
Very bold.
But hey, that's just...
I don't know that I entirely agree with that. So for me, I'm thinking that... So Modern Horizons is still relatively new and they still want to sell packs, so nothing from Modern Horizons will get touched unless it is the absolute completely format warping monster that everybody fears it to be. But the last time that there was a format warping monster, it was Is It Phoenix, and now people just don't seem to care as much. So
for our thoughts on it, go find the stream.
Yes. Check out thoughts on that on the Day 3 podcast, which you can find on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, anywhere you get your podcasts, as well as anchor.fm/MTGTeamCE, just like our Twitch channel. I think that they will likely put a warning light up for Hogaak, saying that, yes, we understand this is super powerful. Yes, we think that this can be broken, but we're not convinced yet that it's needing to be banned. And unless they're just seeing like insanely dumb data, like somebody goes, 6-2 with it without ever touching the deck on their first day.
Now, to be fair, we did see a humans deck win an open undefeated, and nothing is getting banned from humans.
Truth. I don't think they mentioned anything being on the watch list last time.
Last time the watch list was the Kieran and Ugin's Conjurant.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes. There was they had 3 specific combos that they were watching out for with cards from War of the Spark. It was
I'm actually gonna look this up.
Neoform and Allosaurus Rider, Ugin's Conjurant and Celestial Kieran, and then Karn and Mycos and Platis.
Gotcha.
No, humans did not break the format, but that deck has existed as one of the most popular and one of the best performing decks since its inception. Or rather, since its breakout performance.
Yes. Yeah. So, quick reminder before we jump into another match. This is the deck list that we're playing. This is the current Modern Menace. Hogaak Bridgevine. Kevin Vile, still good. More at 11.
Hot takes from Brian.
Yep. He gets this format. Funny enough, we're not running either of those cards in here because these cards are just broken.
Alright, Marcos, it is my turn. I will be back in a moment, but good luck doing you.
Yep, we'll see how well I can pilot this deck on my own. Salty counterspell player. Cavern of Souls isn't that bad for you. You can just run some Field of Ruins and you're fine. You're a 2-color deck usually, right, Brian? You can afford to run a couple of Field of Ruins. Okay. I like this actually a lot. Blood Moon for the win indeed. So with this, we can Blood Crypt on turn 1 with an Insolent Neonate. Attack in turn 2, dump the bridge from below, get a zombie, and put out an Altar of Dementia. And then we can just kind of start going off from there. So I like keeping this hand. Our opponent has mulliganed to 6, which can only be good for us, I suppose. They have kept 6, leading with the Blackleaf Cliffs and an Inquisition of Kozilek. Smart thing for them to do would be to get rid of Insolent Neonate, because then we can dump our bridge from below. But, yeah, I was going to say, but Altar of Dementia looks very, very tempting to get from this hand. And a Stitcher Supplier. Well, Blood Crypt, untap, Insolent Neonate, and pass the turn, ready to dump a bridge from below whenever we need to. Manamorphose. Why in the world are you... I'm encountering issues with my shortcut keys. For those who don't know, I actually use the program Shadow, which is a PC streaming service to allow you to offload game processing onto a separate PC. Discard bridge from below. Get it. So because I use Shadow, because I'm on a Mac and primarily use Mac platforms only, this is the only way that I can actually play Moto or MTG Arena is through these PC streaming services. So with that, some of the keys are a little off-mapped a bit, and that's why you might see a random internet browser show up as I'm streaming. Alright, so we have Stitcher Supplier, and if we hit a whiff with Stitcher Supplier here, we can Hogaak immediately, or we can just start bashing him with a zombie. But I kind of like the idea of just sticking a Hogaak as quickly as possible. It's a very hard thing for our opponent to try to answer. Dalton has returned. Welcome
Ooh,
back,
is this
Dalton.
Marty Pyromancer?
It might be, considering the Lingering Souls in the Yard, Manamorphose, Inquisition, and Collective Brutality that have been cast so far. We are now going to... Yes.
Oh, I was updating my sideboard today for Naya Blitz, and I pulled out Amulet of Safekeeping, which was my one of sideboard card for Mardu Pyromancer, which shows you how much I update the sideboard. I swapped that out for Renin 6. I was like, I haven't seen Mardu Pyromancer. I haven't seen it at FNM. I haven't seen it on any streams I've watched. The deck basically just seems gone. And here it is.
I think it's gotten some new toys, in particular with the... Oh, what is it? The Season Pyromancer?
Yes.
I think that has made it worthwhile to continue exploring, especially with more Lingering Souls in the deck. So...
Big boy Pyromancer.
Yes.
Do you think it plays Battle Screech?
I mean, it could. I doubt they want to. It's a thing they can do. I'm not objecting.
Pitch it to like a Faithless Looting or a Seasoned Pyromancer, and then you can immediately do it with your spirits.
Mm-hmm. I suppose.
I'm not saying it's the best.
Yeah. Man.
So Hogaak looks really good there.
Oh, looks real good here. Attacking with everything seems wonderful. I'm just trying to figure out how we get this Vengevine into our graveyard, which I don't think we can. Which is a shame, but hopefully we can just start bashing them and not even care about it.
Marcos, what is your favorite keyword?
My favorite keyword? Exalted.
Yeah?
I love Exalted. One of the first constructed decks, and by constructed I mean kitchen tabletop constructed decks, that I ever played was a Exalted deck that was just absolutely bonkers and annoyed my friends to no end because I just kept like walling up behind a whole bunch of Exalted creatures and then just attacking with one creature and bashing them for 1 billion. So I absolutely love the Exalted mechanic. I was always waiting for it to come back after M13.
Congrats, you got it. Thank you, MH1. Mine is Trample.
Fair.
No surprise.
Trample is very good. I was going for more non-evergreen because like it's hard to have a favorite evergreen mechanic because they all just make sense for so many applications.
Ooh, non-evergreen. It's a good question. Exalted is a fun one, and definitely like one of those one of those abilities that has like it. Exalted never seems too powerful. Mm-hmm. Like if you're winning with an Exalted deck, you feel good because you know it's truly in the skill of how you're playing or what you're doing with it.
Mm-hmm. Do I jokingly cast Bridge from Below here just to mess with them? Let's not be that person.
Is there any way that goes wrong?
So I'm assuming they have a path to exile here for
Fine.
Terminate. Sure.
Then they
still lose.
Block, Bloodghast, 1.
Yeah, I guess. Alright, opponent, you're doing it. Play my fetch land. Get my Bloodghast back. Ugh. Did they have another Lingering Souls? No, they used both already. Yep. They got 1 card in hand and a single spirit. What you got, opponent? And they're attacking with it. Bold move.
Shout out for damnation. Not that there's anything you can do about it.
I can cast a Stitcher Supplier into it. Oh, unintuitive play patterns. Ultra Dementia, Bloodghast. They are underneath 10 life, so I'm all about Bloodghasting here. Everybody in the club, do you have 3 removal spells or settle the wreckage? Anything. Lightning Helix.
Ooh.
They have exactly the right card.
That's decent.
It's decent. It is decent.
Last 1 more turn.
Hey, sometimes that's all you need. Bedlam Reveler.
Yeah, true.
Get him. Just draw 3. I do like that red has these effects like on Bedlam Reveler and Seasoned Pyromancer that are just like, if you're already Hellbent, you just draw cards. I do like that. Like, it's not tied to if you do discard. I mean, attack? Actually, hold on. So I have a Hogaak in the graveyard. Why you wouldn't. Yeah, but I have a Hogaak in the graveyard, and 4 other cards in graveyard. If I attack with everything, I cannot get back Hogaak this turn. If I attack with 2 things, they still have to block. So I'm going to attack with a Leaf back a Stitcher Supplier so that I can cast Hogaak with this Gravecrawler that's in my hand. This doesn't necessarily... Well, no. If I attack with everything, I could just win this turn. Assuming they have nothing. Yes. But they have 2 cards in hand. Are they going to have a Terminate or a Path here? Even if they do, I can just cast the Gravecrawler. Well, they can't Terminate. Oh, right.
It'd have to be Path or Fatal Push.
No, they could Terminate. It's an instant. Oh, no, but they don't have the red mana. Okay, so it'd have to be Path or Fatal Push. You're right. Let's go for it. All 3. No guts, no glory, right? Don't give them the chance to play out of it. Hey, got there. Sweet. I like how they were basically just waiting to see if we would commit a full-out attack before they scooped.
Yep. Well, they got to do their part.
Absolutely. Is this any... Wismare probably, because Leyline of the Void is a thing. Are they running Surgicals, you think? Somebody just had a great idea.
I don't think it's a bad hedge. Because it's a free spell that would trigger a Pyromancer.
Yeah. I don't want to dilute this too much.
Yeah.
Wismares for Insolent Neonates seems like a fair trade to me. I will also mention that I could very likely be sideboarding incorrectly. Hashtag staying alive. I love it. Oh, also, because I missed it earlier, thank you for the follow, Kilogram. Let's see how this looks. Stitcher Supplier, Gravecrawler, and a Carrion Feeder, plus an Altar of Dementia. This looks like so much gas. I love all of this, and I'm keeping it.
I like this hand a lot. Turn 1 Feeder, so turn 2 Supplier, Gravecrawler, swing 3.
Mm-hmm. Nailed it. Hey, puppers. Okay, this looks a little worse with an Inquisition. But, I mean, only a little bit. And that's really only if they're getting the Carrion Feeder. Because otherwise, basically anything else they get rid of, I don't care as much about. They're not going to dump the Gravecrawler. They may be incentivized to get rid of the Stitcher Supplier. But, of course, they go for the Altar of Dementia. Which I'm fine with. Blackleaf, Carrion Feeder, go. And we draw Hogaak, which they don't know about. So they think they're safe. And then... Peasy.
Okay. Well, Maybe they think they're safe.
Maybe they think they're safe. Stitcher Supplier. Okay, so how are we sequencing this? Stitcher Supplier and a Gravecrawler. Stitcher Supplier puts 3 cards into our yard, putting it up to 4. I would have to sacrifice Stitcher Supplier to do anything there, but then I wouldn't be able to cast Hogaak this turn.
So if you Stitcher Supplier and Gravecrawler, sack Stitcher Supplier, you could still theoretically get and cast a Hogaak.
Yes, I would be sacrificing an attack with a Carrion Feeder, but to put out an 8/8 Trampler that they can't really deal with. I mean, they probably can with their Terminates, but forcing them to use that and then just continuing to cycle through my library is fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Stitcher Supplier. Dumping a Carrion Feeder. A Vengevine. Yes. That makes us significantly better. Gravecrawler. Get a Vengevine back. Yes.
Yeah, so now we can even play the game of we're swinging for at least, So right now, we're not necessarily sacrificing a Hogaak because of that Vengevine. So if we hit a Hogaak, we can still cast it and swing for 4. If not, we can just swing for 6.
Yeah. Well, we have the Hogaak in hand.
Oh, you're right. Never mind.
Yeah, so I can just tap Carrion Feeder, Gravecrawler, delve some spells that don't matter. Let's see what we got here. Alter Dementia doesn't matter in the yard. Wismare doesn't matter in the yard. Carrion Feeder, Stitcher Supplier, Blackleaf Cliffs. Cool. Hogaak on the field.
Man, Hogaak's one of those cards that I feel like you should only be able to cast it from graveyard.
If that were the case, it would be a much more fair Magic card. They're at 11. It's turn 2. They're just starting their first turn 3. And we win the match. They can't do nothing about it.
Well, okay. Marcos, I'm starting to think that this might be a pretty good deck.
This deck seems kind of good. I think it might have legs.
It's definitely got arms. I know Gravecrawler has arms.
Yes. Using them to crawl out of that grave. So, we are now 3-1 in a Modern League. I think we can do the 4-1. Sad that we can't do the 5-0 with this deck on our first run through with it, but not for nothing. Even if we just do a 3-2 on our first run through with the deck, I'm totally fine with that too.
Now, Marcos, I have a very important question.
What's that?
We're at 3 wins. We're guaranteed at least 1. Are we cracking chests?
Oh, we're cracking chests.
Okay.
Oh, we're
good.
Cracking all the chests. The question is, how many chests will we be cracking? I will say, though, I have yet to actually get any good card out of a treasure chest, ever. Like, just not pulled it off. So, I don't know if it's just the worst luck in the world, or I'm just not that great and don't get that many chests, but... Alright. Going for the 4-1. Found an opponent. Let's see who our next victim is. So we are going to play first. This opening hand has Basic Swamp and nothing we can cast off of Basic Swamp. This seems like a...
if that was a Basic Mountain...
If this was a Blood Crypt, all about it. If this was any fetch land, all about it. Basic Swamp does nothing here. So, mulligan away. I have noticed this deck mulligans extremely well. Like this.
Okay.
Yeah. Insolent Neonate, Stitcher Supplier, Bloodghast back on turn 2. I'm inclined to Insolent Neonate first. Altar on top for sure.
Why no carry-on feeder first?
That's actually a very good question.
Because I like carry-on feeder, and then we can cast Stitcher Supplier, sack Stitcher Supplier, cast Neonate, and then
Okay.
if we have a Hogaak, we can cast it.
That's true. As we've learned, turn 2 Hogaaks win games. Oh, burn.
Well, we couldn't make it a league without seeing burn.
That's true. This is going to be a good test for this deck, I think. Alright, so Stitcher Supplier. Mill. What do we hit? Neonate, land, altar. So, effectively a whiff, except for the fact that we're just building up for our Hogaak. Marsh Flats, find a basic... No, not a basic swamp. We do need to find a red source to be able to play Insolent Neonate. Shame to do this against a burn deck, but hopefully they won't live long enough to actually have it matter. Neonate. Sacrifice Stitcher Supplier. Okay, so I can already see that we punted this match. Or not the whole match, but we have punted in this match. In that, I did not sacrifice the Stitcher Supplier to the Carrion Feeder before casting the Insolent Neonate. If I had, this Vengevine that made it to our graveyard would be on the battlefield right now as well. Things to know about your sequencing. So we're up to 1.5 punts per hour. Wait, what? Desperate Ritual. Yes, you did make that comment earlier. Thank you. I actually did read that earlier, and then just in doing this, did not think about it. That was entirely my fault.
Unfortunately, if I weren't shoving my face full of salad, I would have mentioned that.
Oh. Okay, so nothing we can do there.
Fascinating.
They're going to skewer away the Carrion Feeder. Sure.
That is not a line I would have anticipated.
They used a Desperate Ritual to cast the Skewer the Critics hard cast. I'm stammered by this. Now we get a zombie. There's a 3/4. I think we block with Insolent Neonate. The question is, do we draw a card? The only thing we would discard is a Bloodghast. And realistically, we kind of want the Bloodghast to be able to cast this... No. Man, we really messed ourselves up there because now I don't see any easy way for us to cast 2 creatures in one turn. Unless we just draw a Hogaak. I think against burn, we want to save ourselves the damage, so block, don't discard, and go. What do you think, Dalton? Seem like a logical line of play?
I kind of like pitch altar or pitch Bloodghast, just because if we draw a land off the top, it's on the battlefield. I know we can't cast it, but in order to cast 2 creatures in a turn, we would need to draw land and a creature.
Yeah, that's fair. And drawing the extra card will help us potentially be able to draw more. Okay, I like that. And we do still get the zombie here to just attack more emphatically at our opponent. There's our land to get our Bloodghast back. Now do we get a 1-drop creature? Hey, look at that. Okay, so we have a Gravecrawler. Let's cast our Gravecrawler. Insolent Neonate. Cast the Insolent Neonate. Vengevine comes back. Sweet line of play.
And we can bring back Ghasts.
Get him. Woo, what a turn. It's like this deck is really powerful or something.
So notably, Neonate's the only one that can block right now. But I think that's okay. If our opponent uses a burn spell to get rid of a Neonate to swing through damage, then I'm not very worried about what they're doing with their turn.
Right. And General Mongoose points out this could just be Mono Red Prowess, which I forgot is actually a newer deck. And another one bites the dust. On to game 2. So against Mono Red. I think a couple of Necrotic Wounds are good. Especially if they kind of go all in with the... with the Swift Spear. Like, if they just have the one and a couple of spells to prowess it up, being able to take care of it in response to a prowess trigger is pretty cool. I think I actually want to take out something that can't block, but nothing that can't block is worth taking out. I really hate to just keep cutting the Insolent Neonates, but... Yeah, they make a good point in chat. Burn does not run rituals like
I could see maybe a Ghast, just because I don't anticipate them being below 10 very early in the game.
Yeah. I can cut a Bloodghast and a Insolent Neonate, just kind of split the difference. The velocity of drawing either of those cards at 3 and 3 versus 4 and 2 is acceptable, I think. Yep, let's run it that.
Yeah. And then there's also Insolent Neonate does help us to cast 2 creatures in a turn, whereas Bloodghast is a lot less likely to do so.
Right. Ugh. So, Gravecrawler into Altar of Dementia, attack with Gravecrawler, sacrifice it to altar, do nothing? This doesn't seem...
I don't think this is a good hand.
No. No, I don't. I didn't either, but... Ooh, that's not a good hand either. I do like to just kind of walk through the line and see if there's any potential way I can see a hand going. This is even worse, though. Carrion Feeder with 2 Bridge from Belows that are stuck in hand without being able to go to the graveyard is really bad.
I agree.
Yeah. No reason to keep that. I mean, I guess we can discard a Hogaak to an Insolent Neonate if we need to.
Yeah. It's not great.
This does really nothing either, but the question is, does this do nothing compared to a...
More than 4.
Yeah, like, if we go to 4, what are the 4 that we want? We would want a Blood Crypt, a Carrion Feeder, a Faithless Looting, and a Bridge from Below? And even then, we're still not doing much?
I think. No.
Alright, let's keep this. Let's see what we get off the top. At some point, just having the lands to be able to cast spells helps. Necrotic Wound on top. Not yet. I'm going to put this to the bottom.
Necrotic Wound is going to X for 1, and the Swift Spear doesn't get hit.
Nope. And lo and behold, there's our buddy Swiftspear. Alright, another land. Well. Neonate. Pass the turn. So definitely dumping a Hogaak here. I'm going to declare no block. Attack next turn, dump Hogaak, see what happens. Lightning Bolt, targeting us. Lightning Bolt targeting us. Wow. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you got it, buddy.
Okay, so now we drew a land. We have literally nothing else to do here. We can try to draw a worthwhile piece of action off of the Insolent Neonate now before we pass to them. Or we can just throw the Neonate in front of their Monastery Swiftspear and just use it to save against some damage. Mm-hmm. I think that's the line. On a Marsh Flats. And just pass the turn.
Yeah, being at 8 is not
where we want to be.
Not too hot.
Faithless Looting. Prowess Trigger. Go. They pitch. You know it's not a good good game for you when you're looking more at their graveyard than your own. They pitch an Arclight Phoenix.
Okay.
So this is just mono red Phoenix. That's much more enlightening. Well, we're definitely blocking this. It's gonna die anyways, so we're going to try to get some value. Discard a Hogaak to draw something that's worthwhile here. What do we got? Carrion Feeder. It's a creature. I'm okay with that. And a Gravecrawler. Well, Gravecrawler cannot block, but it can help us cast things later on. Totally missed my fetch as well, but don't care as much. Although neither one of these can block realistically, so. Right, let's just fetch now so I don't forget. Enters tapped. Alright, opponent, what can you do with 2 cards and a Monastery Swiftspear against us? Do you have another turn? Desperate Ritual. Prowess Trigger. That's 2 damage. Faithless Looting. Flashback. That's 3 damage. Are they going to get the 3rd one for the Arclight Phoenix for the win? Looks like they are.
Yep.
Arclight Phoenix plus a Monastery Swiftspear plus nothing to block with means we lose that game. Okay, so now we know. Forget Necrotic Wounds.
Got it.
Leyline of the Void. Insolent Neonate out. Okay. I like this configuration for Leyline of the Voids to get rid of their Phoenixes and their flashback lootings.
Yep.
And Lava Darts and whatever other shenanigans they're playing. I played against the deck that was running Lava Dart earlier, and it actually looked surprisingly good. Like, I was kind of high on that card when they announced it, and then it kind of got overshadowed by the rest of the Modern Horizons previews. And then I remembered, wait, that card is surprisingly good. Stitcher Supplier, Carrion Feeder, Insolent Neonate, Altar with a single Swamp. Carrion Feeder into Stitcher Supplier is fine by me. The rest of
so theoretically, turn 1 Carrion Feeder, land off the top, turn 2 Stitcher Supplier, sack Stitcher Supplier, Carrion Feeder, could cast a Hogaak or bring back Vengevines.
I'm okay with those odds, considering that's how the deck is really trying to operate, so... It's greedy, but...
Oh, definitely greedy.
Screw it, let's do it. For the treasure chests.
Here for the memes.
Here for the memes, here for the wins, here for the broken deck that should not be doing the crazy busted things it's doing. Carrion Feeder, go. Alright, so next turn I'm going to Stitcher Supplier first. Hey, look at that, Lava Dart. Okay, so...
No!
If I get a land, Stitcher Supplier first, then Carrion Feeder. Got a land. We're doing it. Alright. Stitcher Supplier first. Let's do this for the stream. Let's get a Vengevine into the yard, please. No Vengevine, but a Bridge from Below, which is actually fine as well.
On the list of cards that aren't Vengevine, aren't Vengevine that I want to see, that one ranks highly.
Agreed. Shame we cannot cast Hogaak right now. But we can sacrifice things to Stitcher Supplier and get zombies. Oh wait, we might be able to actually cast Hogaak because we get the zombie.
Oh, you're right.
That is so dumb. Exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. Oh no! Alright, well they got us on the bridge, which means no Hogaak this turn. Boo. Man, I got really excited there for a second. Jeez. And whiff on that. Okay. Also, what card did they just use?
Puppeteer Click, right?
Fairy Macabre.
Fairy Macabre, that's right.
Exile up to 2 cards from it. What in the world? Do they run black mana? Is this just a graveyard hate card? Wow.
Like, legitimately, that's one of those cards that the only reason I know it is because it's appeared in, like, dumb rules questions.
Sounds exactly right. Okay, actually, before I just start throwing things onto the battlefield, let me not ruin sequencing here. Let's think about what we want to do. We have an Insolent Neonate. We have a Gravecrawler. We have no way to fill our yard.
How many cards are in the yard?
Sorry?
How many cards are in the yard?
We have a total of 6 cards in the yard. So we can cast Hogaak just off of a Gravecrawler and the Carrion Feeder being on the board. I don't see any other lines here that make sense.
Nope.
So, Gravecrawler?
Seems great.
And Hogaak? Why do I keep calling him Hogaak? It's Hogaak.
Hogaak.
Gacking him. Oh, the sounds of New York.
Excuse me, sir. Did you just gack your opponent?
Gacking him.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave the venue.
Oh yeah, I can also cast this Insolent Neonate. And Lightning Bolt our Carrion Feeder. Sure. That's not one we care about keeping around.
No, it's a little late for the value on that one.
Yep. No reason to start discarding anything to Neonate just yet. They're stuck on 1 mana. Oh, never mind. Spoke too soon.
Shouldn't have said it.
Yep. As soon as I did, I'm like, nope, that's gonna change right away. This is an avatar. Interesting. I want to know what the lore behind Hogaak is. What is this? 2 damage to each creature without flying. 2 for 1? Okay, here's a question. Do we need our Altar of Dementia for something next turn? Or can I just try to pitch it for something better?
What do we have in our yard?
In our yard, we have a Carrion Feeder and a Faithless Looting. Altar. So if they find a way to deal with Hogaak, we can sacrifice it to Altar to refill our yard and kind of go off a little bit there. That's about the only thing I can think of for why I want to keep Altar right now. Otherwise,
I think it's a good...
You think it's good to hold on to?
I do.
Yeah, even just that line of like protecting a Hogaak and filling our yard obscenely with it seems good. Hogaak is currently a 3-turn clock. Loving it. Leyline of the Void. I would love to be able to pitch that, not gonna lie.
We do have a Faithless Looting in the yard, though.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 more mana will allow us to.
Truth. That's a very good point. Altar is good as just a safety net so that we can keep doing dumb things with our graveyard. I mean, I like where we're at. Very macabre. I just can't. Lava Spike. Oh goodness, stop that. Okay. Not much else they can do with 1 red mana. Vengevine. Bleh. The Faithless Looting looks really good right now. But then so does Smashing for 8. Pass a turn. Can you deal with an 8/8 Trampler opponent? So with 4 cards left in hand, they need 3 Lightning Bolts. Exactly. Nope, that's it. We did it.
Woo!
We got the 4-1. First competitive Modern League with a deck that I just picked up today. Misplaying all over the place. Terrible sequencing and all. And we got the 4-1 in the league. Super hyped for that. Got some modern points. Got some play points. Got a qualifier point. And most importantly, we got the 5 treasure chests. Chesting it up. And we're right on time with our stream because we are typically doing about a 3-hour stream, 9 to midnight. And we got 6 minutes left. So that's awesome. Man, what a league. That was awesome. So let's get to cracking some chests. I am also intrigued to hear. I have a good amount of modern decks built on Moto. For our next modern stream, whenever that is, I'm very intrigued to see what anybody would like us to play. You can see the full selection here on the left-hand side. We can do Tron, we can do Spirits, we can do Pyromancer, we can do Jund and Phoenix and Humans and Amulet, everything.
Quest for Ula's Temple.
Quest for Ula's Temple. Actually, this setup is going to be very good for us because this is probably going to be how Dalton and I go and stream our Ula's Quest deck down the line. Alright, enough with the talking. Let's open some treasure chests. Oh, I'm sure.
Shameless plug for those of you who haven't seen yet or aren't following us on Facebook, you can find us at Team Collective Effort,
Collective Effort MTG. And on that page, I put up an article for Quest for Ula's Temple regarding some of the gameplay, some of the reasons to play it, and a few bits of advice when running the deck. So, if you have any interest, find us on Facebook at Collective Effort MTG.
Yeah. Or I believe everything is at MTG Team CE. So, like our Twitch handle, if you haven't given us a follow, we really would appreciate it. We opened a Plague Wind here and 25 play points. Not bad. You can find us on a lot of places. We can...
Team Collective Effort on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Search for Team Collective Effort. That'll pull us up. You can follow us on Twitter at MTG Team CE, on Instagram at MTG Team CE. Follow us here on Twitch at twitch.tv/MTG Team CE. Illusory Gains, and a Moon Silver Spear, and 5 play points. General Mongoose wants us to run this deck back again. I'm totally down for running this deck again. I love this deck. I used to play Dredge a lot, and this just feels like a much better Dredge. Ooh, got a Mythic, Seraph for the Scales.
Seraph.
Elvish Spirit Guide.
Ooh.
And some play points.
Pretty.
Yeah. I mean, this is at least playable.
In a format.
Yeah, in a format. I mean, I'm all about playing the Spirit Guides. Mine are usually monkeys, though. And they're helping me get turn 1 kills in my Summer Bloom days. Mind Bend. What does this even do? Change the text of target permanent by replacing all instances of one colored word with another, or one basic land type with another. For example, you may change non-black creature to non-green creature, or forest walk to island walk. Wow, this is a classic old school card. Everything about what this card does is old and doesn't happen in Magic anymore. But we got 25 points, so run some leagues back. You could make Blood Moon make everything islands. You absolutely could.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, and the last treasure chest.
See that.
Let's see something good. Oh, something good. Narset Parter of Veils, Japanese Altar. Love it. Love it. And a Grizzlebrand. Totally a playable card.
Well, that's a heck of a pack. Or a chest.
I've officially broken my streak of opening terrible treasure chests. And I'm
gonna know, you're going strong there for a bit.
Yeah. I'm going to thank you, Twitch, and the stream for that. Because they knew it's on camera. They knew they had to give me the goods.
And thank you, random Twitch viewers.
Yep. Oh, that Narset.
That's nice. I wonder what it's at.
That's a good question.
All right, I'm on it. I'm on the case.
On it. You can see some of the cards that I've been specking on from Modern Horizons as well. 4 Ranger Captain of Eos. This card is gonna do things. I'm sure of that. Shenanigans. Force of Vigors for my Amulet deck. And you can see I haven't been doing too much else. I had only gotten 1 Narset before that. So I'm very happy to have another Narset, even though they're going to be mismatched, but it's Moto. What do you expect? I'm actually going to check out. Oh, not Enlightened Master. What is this Narset named?
Narset Parter of Veils.
There you go.
Show me online price.
I'm actually looking up Seraph for the Scales. I doubt it's a lot, but... Whoa! Seraph of the Scales is an $8 35-cent card online right now.
Wow.
What? Why is it that expensive? I mean, I'm cashing that in immediately and putting it right back into decks, but wow. All right, good treasure chest there. Sell, sell, sell indeed. Throw that to the trade binder there. But yeah, successful stream. Plenty more decks to play, and as you can tell if you listen to our podcast and hear us all talking about Magic, we love Modern. The whole team does, so I'm sure we'll be doing more Modern stuff soon. Arena has been kind of slowed up a little bit, mainly just because everybody's doing Arena, but Modern looks really exciting, really wide open right now. So I'm sure we'll do some more Modern stuff. All right, with that, Dalton, any last words before we sign out?
Thank you for joining us. It was awesome seeing quite a few hanging out with us this evening. So big ups to all of you out there.
Thank you. And we're working on our stream schedule. We started off with a stream schedule of every Wednesday and every Saturday night. As of right now, Saturday night is the most consistent that we've been able to do. Wednesday nights have been kind of hit or miss because of other circumstances coming up during the week. I work very late during the week, so by the time I come back, there's often times where I just want to collapse. So, 25 ticks for Narset. Woo! All right. But yeah, if there are any days that you guys would like to see us stream, let us know, and we'll definitely rework our stream around that. We typically want to do 2 streams a week. Saturday for sure, since we seem to get a good crowd around tonight, and then sometime during the week if we can make it work. So with that, plugging everything else that Team Collective Effort does, you can listen to the Day 3 podcast. I mentioned beforehand that's on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, anywhere you get your podcasts. Look up the Day 3 podcast from Team Collective Effort. Our latest episode is talking about the state of competitive Magic, something that's very controversial at the moment. We have thoughts.
Or the state.
So yeah, definitely check that out. New episodes come out every Wednesday. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, all at MTG Team CE. Follow us here on Twitch at MTG Team CE, and you can like us on Facebook at MTG Team CE as well. And we're also pulling up stream replays on our YouTube channel if you search for Team Collective Effort on YouTube. Tonight's stream will definitely be on there. With that, thanks for coming out, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.